On May 6, 2021, police in Volusia County, Florida, were alerted about a stolen Cocoa police car speeding on the highway. The suspect, 33-year-old Xavier Cummings.
Guys, give me your speed. We're about 105, 110, trying to catch up. They're still a little ways away. It's pretty good traffic. Still south of that there one's got it, if you want to call it.
10-3, 10-3. Someone just hit him into the woods.
The 252. 252. Every unit behind us, stop traffic, stop traffic. We got plenty up here.
The chase began with officers attempting to catch up with the speeding police vehicle. Traveling at speeds over 100 miles per hour, they struggled to close the gap as Cummings led them on a wild chase across the highway.
9 Charlie 14, I'll be in the far right lane, stopping traffic.
Shut it down. Car in the woods, can't see the driver.
9 Charlie 14, anybody got eyes?
Air 1 does not have eyes on the suspect.
All right, everybody heads up. He's trying to drive the car out of the woods.
Officers initially lost sight of Cummings after he was pitted into the woods by another officer. However, they quickly realized he was still inside the vehicle, trying to drive it out of the woods. This forced the officers to approach with shields, preparing for a potentially dangerous confrontation.
Trying to rock the car back and forth so he's still inside. Look, when they get a shield, let's pin him in.
Cummings' tenacity was clear as he rocked the vehicle back and forth, determined to free himself from the entangled branches and escape yet again. The officers, realizing they were dealing with a highly determined individual, called for additional units to reinforce their position.
He's on the move again in a Cocoa K9 Explorer going north on 95.
Okay, we got units coming up just south of Dunlaw, and it's the only vehicle coming at you, center lane, blue lights on. Only vehicle, about 3 seconds out.
Just as the officers were closing in, Cummings managed to restart the stolen vehicle and sped off again. This time, he targeted a parked Cocoa Police K9 vehicle, which had been left unlocked with the keys in the ignition. In a move that shocked the pursuing officers, Cummings switched vehicles mid-chase, showing a boldness that caught everyone off guard as Cummings sped away. The stakes were higher now, as the new vehicle was not just any car, it was a fully equipped police SUV, capable of high speeds and potentially containing dangerous weapons inside. The officers knew they had to act fast to prevent Cummings from causing even more harm. They intensified their efforts, coordinating with other units and deploying stop sticks further down the highway, hoping to bring the dangerous pursuit to an end.
Stick hit from both corridor units. Full stick hit. Are there guns in the front of the car? Ask the K9 handler from Cocoa. He said yes, there probably is.
Okay, vehicle is smoking. Vehicle smoking north of 95, or north of Dunlaw by about a half mile. Going into the inside lane.
Being advised that's a SWAT officer's vehicle. Don't be in the same lane with him. He's going to lose debris all over the road.
Inside lane, he's starting to slow down.
Despite their best efforts, Cummings managed to stay one step ahead, pushing the stolen K9 vehicle to its absolute limits. Not even the SWAT team could stop him. The car started smoking and slowing down, which suggests it might end soon, but it's still dangerous because of the possible guns inside.
K9, I wonder if you're not already. Hurry up and get up here. I'm coming. Hey, you guys let K9 to the front. Let K9 to the front. Car 1, make sure we get some long guns up here too.
Still northbound, north of the Williamson overpass.
X-ray 11's at 92. Does it need more sticks or no? Everybody hold there. We need a K9 up here. Mike, where you at? Passing Williamson. He's breaking for the median, guys. He's breaking for the median. Breaking for the median. Everybody slow down. Don't ball up here.
Underneath the wires. Underneath the wires. In the median.
The deflated tires caused Cummings to lose control, with the vehicle swerving unpredictably across the highway. Officers were warned to keep their distance, knowing that the situation could turn deadly at any moment. As the vehicle began to smoke and struggled to maintain speed, Cummings was forced to slow down. Realizing this might be their final opportunity to end the chase safely, the officers coordinated a last effort to surround the vehicle and apprehend Cummings. He made one last attempt to escape by steering the smoking vehicle toward the median. As officers closed in, they managed to apprehend Cummings without further incident. He had armed himself with a large pepper spray canister but it was no match for the overwhelming police presence. The officers' quick thinking and coordinated efforts ensured that the chase ended without any loss of life. Following his arrest, Cummings admitted to stealing the vehicles, claiming he believed he had permission through mental telepathy. He also confessed to using crystal meth earlier that day and not sleeping for 24 hours, which likely contributed to his erratic behavior. Cummings was charged with armed burglary, grand theft, fleeing law enforcement, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. We then moved to Southfield, Michigan, where 2 black males were spotted in the stolen car, which had been reported missing from a nearby area. The driver appeared to be around 30 years old, while the passenger looked younger. They pulled into a parking lot and briefly exited the vehicle. However, upon noticing an officer approaching, they quickly jumped back into the car.
Adam 5, contact made. They're fleeing.
Contact made. Fleeing. Westbound direction.
They're trying to leave the apartment. Radio. 2 black males. Passenger's gonna be a little bit younger.
The officer attempted to stop them by performing a pit maneuver, which caused the car to spin out in the snow. Despite this, the suspects managed to keep the vehicle moving, and the chase continued.
Get on the ground! Don't you move! Right now,
You're outside the vehicle now.
The younger passenger immediately surrendered, lying on the ground with his hands over his head. Meanwhile, the driver, instead of surrendering, he exited the Chrysler and ran toward the officer's patrol vehicle. The officer quickly approached to stop him, but the suspect had already locked himself inside the patrol car. The officer used a window punch to break the front window and attempted to remove the suspect, who was now seated behind the wheel of the police vehicle. As the officer reached into the car to pull the suspect out, the suspect shifted the vehicle into drive. The suspect then sped away in the stolen police vehicle, with lights and sirens blaring.
Go! 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 10-3, yes, our police car! Vehicle 15! Don't you do it! Again, don't you do it! Don't you do it! Don't you do it! You're making a big mistake!
Our patrol car.
Another officer, who spotted the stolen patrol car speeding eastbound on Winchester Street, quickly acted. He performed a deliberate pit control, which caused the police vehicle to spin out and become immobilized once again.
Got you. Don't move. Hands up top. Get him out of that car.
Once the stolen patrol car was stopped, officers surrounded the vehicle. However, the suspect refused to comply with their orders. He concealed his hands and made suspicious movements. which raised concerns that he might be armed. During this tense moment, officers noticed the patrol rifle, which should have been securely locked, lying on the front seat next to the suspect. Later, it was revealed through the in-car video system that the suspect had managed to unlock the rifle by pressing buttons inside the vehicle. Given the suspect's refusal to show his hands and the presence of the rifle, officers were forced to use necessary force to subdue and arrest him. The suspect, already on probation for 2 counts of receiving and concealing a stolen motor vehicle, as well as fleeing and eluding police, now faced a series of new charges. These included felonious assault on a police officer, theft of a police vehicle, resisting arrest, and illegal possession of a firearm. Both the injured officer and the suspect were taken to local hospitals. The officer was treated for the injuries sustained during the altercation, while the suspect received treatment for facial burns caused by the airbags deploying during the final pit go. The case was forwarded to the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office for review and the filing of formal charges. The suspect, who had previously violated his probation, now faces severe consequences. If convicted, he could face a lengthy prison sentence along with significant fines.
I'm gonna be out with a white Honda, southbound, south of Charge.
Our next case brings us to Tehama County, California. At approximately 11:38 a.m. on October 15, 2023, a routine patrol for a highway patrol officer was about to turn serious. The officer was responding to a report of a disabled motorist along southbound I-5, just north of Flores Avenue in Tehama County. The vehicle in question, a white Honda, appeared to be stalled on the side of the road, seemingly in need of assistance.
Hey, can you roll down your window?
As the officer parked his patrol car behind the Honda, he followed standard procedure, reporting his location and the vehicle details to dispatch. The officer then cautiously approached the Honda from the passenger side, maintaining vigilance. Inside the vehicle sat 39-year-old Joseph Michael Pate, who seemed uncooperative from the start. The officer knocked on the window and requested Pate to roll it down, expecting a routine interaction. Pate abruptly exited the vehicle, brandishing a firearm. The officer, caught off guard, quickly realized the severity of the situation. Pate's unexpected aggression left the officer with no choice but to retreat and call for backup, while attempting to issue commands to de-escalate the situation.
Hey, stay in your vehicle. Hey, hey! 802, shots fired, shots fired, shots fired. 1199. Southbound. He's got a long gun on the ground. Stay on the ground! Let me see your head. Do not touch that gun!
Make sure we get higher up.
He's got an AR. It's underneath him on the sling.
He's got an AR underneath him in a sling.
802, I'm not hit. Not hit.
36-802, you're not hit. Where is the suspect now in relation to you?
802, he's by the driver's door. Against this traffic, can you get me the brake, please? Traffic is kind of heavy. Keep your hands where I can see him! Do not reach for that gun!
Traffic is heavy. Requesting brake.
Pate, who had been believed to be incapacitated, suddenly fired again, hitting the officer multiple times.
802, I'm hitting the leg! He's taking off with the patrol vehicle!
Taking advantage of the officer's compromised state, Pate quickly seized the opportunity to steal the officer's patrol car, further complicating the situation. The officer, wounded and unable to pursue, could only watch as Pate took off in the stolen vehicle. As Pate fled the scene, dashcam footage from the stolen patrol car captured the reckless nature of his escape. Pate drove recklessly through traffic, without caring about the safety of other drivers. At one point, his erratic driving caused an 18-wheeler to flip onto its side, spilling cargo across the highway and causing a significant traffic hazard. The overturned truck blocked multiple lanes, leading to a massive traffic jam and complicating the pursuit for law enforcement. The vehicle, already damaged from the earlier gunfire and the high-speed chase, began to show signs of mechanical failure. Smoke billowed from the engine, signaling that the car would not last much longer. Eventually, the patrol car caught fire, forcing Pate to abandon it on the side of the road. With the patrol car out of commission, Pate attempted to escape on foot, running into nearby fields. The terrain provided some cover, but law enforcement officers were quick to respond. Helicopters were dispatched to provide aerial support, tracking Pate's movements and relaying them to ground units. During the foot pursuit, Pate was eventually cornered by officers near a residential area. Despite being surrounded, Pate refused to surrender, opting instead to continue resisting arrest. Pate, visibly injured from the gunfight and exhausted from the chase, made a final attempt to raise his firearm. The officers, recognizing the imminent threat, were forced to open fire, bringing the pursuit to a sudden and violent end.
I have multi-tool in my car. No. I have a multi-tool in my car and gloves.
Stand up! All right, drag him over there.
Pate was quickly subdued and taken into custody, but his injuries were severe. Paramedics on the scene provided emergency medical treatment before transporting him to a nearby hospital. Despite their best efforts, Pate succumbed to his injuries shortly after arriving at the hospital. Meanwhile, the officer involved in the initial shooting was also transported to a hospital for treatment. Despite being shot in the abdomen, shoulder, and leg, the officer's injuries were not life-threatening, thanks in large part to his bulletproof vest. As investigators looked into the details of the incident, they learned more about Pate's past. It turned out that Pate had a long history of criminal activity, including arrests for violent crimes. When the stolen patrol car was recovered, it was found to have several weapons inside, suggesting that Pate might have been transporting them for illegal reasons.